This spreadsheet allows you to track your habits in a very visual way. Past days and today's date are clearly shown with a different color for each week. Dates in the future are grayed out, and become colorful only when that date is reached. So the color follows you day by day. Week numbers are clearly shown. The spreadsheet provides total for each day. You can also set a target for each week, and a percentage completion of that target will show for each week. And you also have an overall total for each habit for the 8 weeks. This spreadsheet does not have any complicated formula, and has no VB macro, only pure simple Excel. Shall we do it together?
Welcome to this tutorial. So people have been asking me to put steps. So I'm just going to give you steps. Okay, so this is the framework. Step 1, framework. 𝙗𝙬𝙤𝙚 if you prefer. So I'm just going to walk you what I've done here, and after we can build this together. So I have taken 8 weeks. So 8 weeks times 7, 7 days a week. So that's 56 cells that you need to put together quite close to each other. Now we'll have, so this at the top is just the counting that I have, just to make sure that I don't miss a day. Now the next row will be used for us to check the day. This one will be to color the weeks differently from one week to another. So just put manually 1 for the first 7 cells, 2, 3, and then 4, and then you go back to 1, 2, 3, 4 by groups of 7. And then if you could have a large cell, you could have a large row here. So I have a row here, and I merged the 7 cells. So once you've merged one, it's easy. You just take it and you just copy it to the next cell. It copies automatically. So you need to merge them because we want to put something in there. For the rest, we need to put the days probably here. So just put a day, days. We'll see which how we want to present the days. So that will be the date. Now, after we have, you don't need to put this gray here yet, but we have 15 habits. For me, it's 15 habits. So I have 15 rows here that I carry across. And then after I have 5 rows here. So if you want a more or less habits, you know what you need to do. You put more or less rows. But here, this is the first. This is to put the big fat numbers at the bottom. Now I leave one row, and after I merge again the cells by 7 here, this is where we'll put the percentage completion. So you do that, easy, copy and paste, merge, copy and paste. Now, if you don't know merge, sorry, you just press on this, you select the 7, and then you press merge and center. Okay, so on the left-hand side, there's just a couple of things here. There's just, you need to allow room to put the date to start the challenge. So here you wouldn't put when you want to start the challenge. You put your target per week, and then you put a max here. So actually, while I'm at it, I could do that now. Let's say I want to start the challenge. I probably will change that later on, but let's say the 1st of March. Target per week. So let's say you have 15 habits here. I have 15 habits, but you could have less. So you just need to tailor this to the amount of habits that you want to track. So what is the maximum per week that I could do? So it is 15 times 7. So that means that you would have done this new habit every day for every habit for the full week. So this is the maximum. I suggest you don't put 105 as a target. You have to be a bit more reasonable. And there's some habits that you might not want to do every day. So let's say I will just put 50. This will be my target per week. And now obviously you can fine tune this. The fields in green here that they'll be manually input. So this is it. We have our target. Okay, let's start with step 2. Step 2, it's around dates and days. So I have put here a start of the challenge. I want to start the challenge the 1st of March. So here I will take that date, 1st of March. And here I will take it as well. Bear with me on this one. And then you add 1 to each date. So here I add 1. So we cannot see it, but there's a date under this. If you want a proof, here it is. I'm just going to... Okay, so I've added 1 to each one of those dates. So here what I want to do is I want to format this so we can see the day itself. So I just go into Format Cells, and I put a custom format, and I just put D, or I could put DD to preference. D, you would only see 1. Okay, I'm just going to put D as a format. So here you only see the day. So here I just want to put something else. I'm going to do some merging again. Here, what I want to do is I want to put the month. So this way we know where we stand. So I'm just going to merge all these. And I'm going to format this. And as a format custom, I will put ~M or even 4M if I wanted. There you go. So now I'm just going to do the same. I'm just going to copy this here, here, and if it all goes well, here I should have April shown. Okay, I have April here. So that's done for those dates here. Now I need to know today's date. So the function, Excel function, if you don't know it for today's date, is this: today and empty brackets. So this is today is the 22nd of Feb here. I'm going to use this to replace the gray with the colors. So here I want to have 0 or 1. I want to have 1 when the date is before today, and I want to have 0 if the date is after today. So I'm just going to have to put a different start of the challenge here. I want to put 10 for February to make sure that it was behind. Okay, so here very simple. Today's date, put press F4, so I always refer to this same. Greater or equal to this date here. I just want to put 1, or else I will put 0. So let's see if it works. Put that across. Today is the 23rd, so he has 1 for the 22, and he's got 0 for the 23rd. So it works here. So we will be using this later on for the coloring, as I mentioned. So is that it for the dates? I think so. All right, so we can worry about the tidying up later on, but let's go to step 3, coloring. Okay, so for each one, I'm going to choose a color here. So here I am using the color, the new office theme. So I'm just going to show you which one I'm using for info. So for the first one, I'm using the green. So it will be like this, pale green. What's it, this one? Pale green like this. Okay, so the second one, I'm going to use a pale blue. I take the first of the blue here. The third one, I'm going to take a pale purple. And for this one, I'm going to take a pale red. So the pale red is not really here. So I had to do it myself. So you just go under the red here, and then you go under more colors. And then what I do is I take those 4 and I copy them here because they are repeating themselves every 4. So those two are pretty similar, but I think I like it. I think that keeps things a little bit consistent. For the top, I need to do the same. I need to repeat the same. And you can actually clear everything. You don't need this merge step. We know it's merged. Okay, so we're making progress. Now, what I want to do is I want to color the actions, the habits that I've taken. I want to be able to put anything here, preferably a blank. And when I do this changes the colors of that. So I'm just going to do it even here where I put the big numbers because I'm going to use this to draw my numbers. So I'm just going to select all. I'm just going to do a conditional formatting here. So new rule, use a formula just in case. So just use the formula. And here I'm going to say, if this field here, so we take the first one, we remove all the dollars. If F7 is not equal to blank, this will be the condition. And what I'm going to do in this condition, I'm going to go back to the same green that I've selected, and I'm going to take a deeper color. Actually, I'm going to take the one at the top here. So first I'm going to check that it works. I'm just going to put something here. All right. But if I do that, it's going to be the same color across the board, but I don't want to do this. I want to have a different color for depending on which color there is there, a deeper color of each here. And this is where the numbers that we have put here will come into play. So I just wanted to show it to you step by step. Lesson of today, do it step by step, Ben. So here you go. And here I'm just going to add another condition then. I'm just going to add and. The field at the top, this one here, the color field here. And I want to remove the F, the dollar before the F. So I'm just going to put F $3 because I want the 3 to stay. So what do I want this field to be? So if it's equal to 1, yes, I'm going to put, if it's equal to 1, yes, I'm going to put that color 3. Okay, so, but if I put something here, then it shouldn't do anything because this is not a 1. But here it should. Okay, so that works. So now what I need to do is I need to select all, and I need to go under conditional formatting, manage rule, and I need to duplicate this one 3 times. And every time I'm just going to put a different number here. So if it's a 2, I want to format it with a deeper blue. So I'm just going to put this blue here. So I could also put the font the same color, just in case you want to put something else than the blank. So if you want to do this, I'm just not going to do it for everyone because I just put blank, but let's say if you want to put a 1 or a 2 in a cell, you can do this. So this way you'll be sure that it's not going to show. Just going to take 3. Unless you want to see the number, obviously. Here I'm just going to take the field, this. It's going to be really in your face. And here I'm just going to put the 4. So what do we do when we have a 4 here? When we have a 4, we want red, but not as bad. We want a lighter. Let's see. Let's start with this. Let's apply all that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that could work. All right. So now we have done this. We have done a few colors here. Now what I like to do is I would like to only put colors on the days that are behind. I have hard-coded the background of those cells here. I want to say if this field here is 0, if this field here is 0 on above with the day check, if this is 0, I want to put gray. Seems simple. Let's try it first. Conditional formatting, manage rule. I'm just going to duplicate one again, and I'm going to say, I'm going to change the rule. I'm going to say if the F2 at the top here, I'm just going to remove. I'm just going to leave the and just in case we need it. But I'm just going to, by the way, if you leave the and, if you have only one thing inside, Excel is pretty cool, pretty relaxed. That's okay. You put and, but you only have one condition. It's not making a big fuss about it. Super cool. Now, if it's 0, I want to gray things out, buddy. So everything has to be grayed out. So I'm just going to put a very pale gray if it's 0. Let's start with this gray here. Okay, I should have put F2. Yeah, let's put F2 instead. Something else that I could do as part of the formatting is just put everything with grids. Just want to put grids here, the dreaded grids. And I want to put something on the left hand side. I want to put a double border. More borders. I want to put a double border here on the side. So I just select the double border and I just click on the side here. And then I want to put it back everywhere. So I just do this and I press F4. Okay, so now I can do the numbers. So the numbers, I'm sorry, but there's no other ways. You just have to do them manually. So I'm just going to do this. I think what am I doing? This is not required here. So this is, I'm going too far. So I'm just going to do it. I think the one I have here are pretty okay. So here for the gray, what I need to do is I need to go back here and I need to put the rule again so I can see the numbers that are grayed out. So here I add the background grayed out in this situation, but I need to add, I knew that would come handy. So if this is 0, if we are beyond 0, and if the field is not blank, I still want to show it because it's gonna help me, not for the habit tracking, but it's gonna help me for the numbers below. F7, not blank, then I'm just gonna put a deeper gray. All right, so you shouldn't have anything in the future, guys. So here, so that works. So now I can do this, I can keep doing this. Doesn't seem right. I just like playing a video game in a way. So that's done. I have February, March, I have the dates, I have all the colors. So if I change the start of the challenge, if I put, let's say, the 1st of Feb, that's moving along quite nicely. If I put the 1st of April, then obviously everything is green, so that's good. Put the 1st of Feb. Now this is it for the coloring of that. Now we're entering the step where we need to do some calculation, some counting, the dreaded calculation. So that's okay, let's have a look. So what we need to do is we need to count how many of those cells for one day is not blank. So that would mean that you would have ticked that box. Now calculations. So I have added 2 rows here for calculations, different color, but that will be hidden. That doesn't need to be shown. So how do I count the fields that are not blank? I'm using the count A function. Count A, oops, of that column here. So if I drag that across, it knows automatically, it calculates. So obviously, do not include this, otherwise it's going to count those are habits that you have taken, which is not correct. So this is actually very simple, pretty good. And if you put anything, if you put a 1, for instance, no, as you said, if you want to put 1s or 2 or anything, if you want to see them, you can leave it this way, or you can put the font at the same color as the background if you want to hide them. So it just counts it. Let me put 1, 2, 3. So it just counts them this way. And what do I want to do now? I want to calculate for the week how many, what was the total. So I just can compare with the target later on. So I just need to make sure that I select the full week and I sum, and that's it. So I have a number here, 7, and I just need to put that for all weeks. Okay, so now we have the total for each day and the total for each week. Now the total for each day, we want to show this here. So instead of doing chart, what we can do is do a spark line. So for a spark line, it's pretty simple. You just do select. You can select that before. You select the full week here. You do insert, and under spark line here, you choose the column. So I will give you a column spark line. So the data range we've already selected, it's here. And here the location range, just want to put this merge cell here. That should be sufficient. And then you press enter and bingo. Now you need to do the same for every week here. So just select it again. You could just drag this actually, but if you drag it, you lose the background color. So it's a choice. You either recreate one for each and you keep the color, or actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it this way. So I just drag it so it's done automatically for all the cells. But what I would like to do is to ungroup them. We group them by default. So I'm just going to go here and I'm just going to press ungroup. Okay, it looks like they are not grouped now. I'm just going to put the background color. I'm going to reiterate my background color that I had here, but before, here there was this one, here that was this one, and here that was this odd one here. Now I want the sparkline color to do two things. First, I want to have the same color to be consistent with the color here. And the second thing is I want to have the max that is consistent for all sparkline. Here, for instance, the max I can do in one day is 15 in my scenario, so I'm just going to put 15. But first, put the sparkline color. I want to go back here and I want maybe have the same color here, or you could choose maybe a deeper green. It's up to you. Maybe a deeper green for variety. You need to put the axis the same for all sparklines. And you need to put as a max 15, because that's a good innings if you do the 15 there. So okay, so here if I do axis, same for all sparklines, I select them all, put a custom value and I put 15. It does it for all of them. So if you think 15 is too ambitious, custom value, maybe you can say 10. So this would be my max. Okay, so here looks like the blue is almost, so I can copy this and I can put it here because I know it's the same color. Now for this one, I have to make sure that I have the same color, sparkline color. I go here and make sure that it's the same blue. We've decided to go for a deeper blue. Here, sparkline color, decided to go to deeper. And this one is going to have to stay the same. So I just take all this actually and I just can copy it here. So does it work? Yes. So we are not allowed to put things in the future, but it works as well. If you have access to a time machine, you never know. So what? So this is good. So this is we're making progress here. I just wanted to add a couple more things. Obviously, all the tidy up we can start as well. We can remove this 56 here. The color and the date check, that's something that we can hide. So I might just data group and I'm just going to hide it. I'm going to remove all the grid lines, view grid lines. I'm just going to remove them. I'm going to remove days and days here. This you could, all that you can put it in also grids if you want. That might be a little bit clearer. Put the grid outlining inside. And then the habits. Do you want to have the habits also this way? Do you want to have them in a different color? I think this is okay the way it is. So here you don't need it. You don't need this numbering anymore. So now we have merged some cells here. Maybe it's time to see what we can do with those. So we have the calculations per week here. So here on the week I've done 7 and the target I had per week was 50. So just a simple calculation, 7 divided per 50 will give me the percentage of my target that I have. So obviously I need to put in percentage here, and I need to put them bigger. And I need to put the color, the font color, I need to be consistent. Okay, so now I'm just going to lock this here because here this is consistent. So we're just going to put the C8, the target. I'm just going to go on it and I'm going to press F4. So that's going to put me the dollars, and F4 that's going to make it consistent. So this way I can just copy this and drag this all across. So you can see maybe after a few weeks you realize, oh, that's a bit aggressive, although you haven't done much. But if you want to have better percentage, and then here when you change this, that should increase nicely. Okay, now the colors, same as, you must really know them now. I thought I could add some chart because technically there's no chart on this. It's just a spark line, which is not really a chart. Now let's have a look at this chart. So I have 35% here, but as it's a merge cell, it's not going to work very well for the charts. Excel is going to have a panic attack, say, oh, you're trying to do a chart with a merge cells and the like. So I'm going to do it again. So here I'm just going to say, okay, I want this number back. I'm going to trick Excel. And here I want the opposite of 35%. I want 100%, or 1 if you prefer, minus this field here. So just I'm going to increase the size of those so you can see what's happening behind the scene. So here you just have these two numbers here, 35 and 65%. You do an insert, you go to donut or 3D pie, or maybe a donut will be sufficient. And then you go here, and then you can happily put it under here. So as we have been consistent with our colors, we don't need a chart title, and we don't need a legend here. Okay, so I can put it here, and I remove the shape outline. I put no outline. And I just have to dig back the same color. So here I wanted to put the shape fill, I wanted to put it a deep green when it's done, and I just make sure that I double click to get only the orange part, and I'm going to put that in light. So this way we are consistent. What is light hasn't been done. And then if you want a percentage, yeah, under above, so you don't need to reproduce it. So if you want to be fancy, you go into shape effect, shadow, and you add a little bit of a shadow here. So now I can duplicate it. But the bad news is, you could say I could duplicate it, and here I need to repeat this. So I can refer to this percentage for each chart. And here, for instance, you could think that I could just drag back here, but unfortunately it changed the colors here. So, and I have to do the same coloring here. Okay, so now what you can do at the end, you can use the find and select here, select objects. So you select all those objects here. This one doesn't want to be part of it. So you just select all objects, and after you can go into shape format and align, and you put a line in the middle to make sure that everybody is in line. So if you had to put some fake numbers to make sure that you could change the colors, now it's time to you just double click to get out of this find and select mode. So you just need to be copying and paste that back. Now, I think this is it. I think we've made good progress. I think this is very nice. Now, if you want to hide this, be careful. You need to go here. You need to right click, select data and you need to put hidden and empty cells, you need to click the show data in hidden rows and columns. Otherwise, it's going to hide it. And then when you're going to put it back, you're going to have to do all the coloring again. So, and then you can add the shadows here. Okay, a couple of last things. I can't remember the first one, but I'm sure it will come back to me. The second one is, if you want to have a total of that habit, how much you've done after 4 weeks or as you progress, it's easy. You know how to do it now. You just do the count A. But this time you're doing on the row. So count A and you select all this. And that's going to give you a beautiful total here. And you just have to drag it down here. And that's going to give you a total for each habit. How much have you done? So if you want to be a little bit fancy, you can go here, for instance, and do the data bar. You know, I don't like data bar usually, but in this instance, I think they're quite good. They can show you really where you are with the totals. So here, and you can put grids or no grids. Second thing, which was actually the first thing that I remember now, it's just, as usual, you know, if you've noticed, I've used the colors from the page layout here. I use most of the colors from the Office theme here. So when I wanted to change the colors, when I pressed here, I use those of this mainly. But this one, just to show you something a little bit different, I've taken a specific color. So this is good when you want to access a specific color, but the downside, if you like, is if you want to change the color of everything, like here, you go in the page layout, you can change the color of everything here, for instance, but this one stays the same. And that's because I've said, no, I want my specific color. Let's say you have a logo that you don't want a color to change, for instance. This is why they've said, okay, you can only change the colors of within the theme will change. Okay, so this is it.